The Meteor65. This is BetaFPV's new 1S Whoop quad, and the most interesting thing about this quad is that it has their new BT2 connector on it. And this is a connector that they developed specifically for Whoop and 1S platforms, which I have to thank them immensely for, because this was absolutely needed, because the PH2 connector is just such a poor connector for this task that we really needed an update. And so this is a very nice update to the PH2 connector, because it does seem to work really well. I mean, the pins seem more robust, they seem really nice, the thing fits together really nicely, so kudos to them. And also on the 1S 65mm whatever prop thing, it performs great. The connector is excellent on 1S. Anyways, I'll continue on with this one, I'll talk about that one later. But this is their new 1S Whoop platform, and yeah, so you can see that immediately I've broken the canopy, and at this point it's sort of like a joke that Beta keeps using these same canopies over and over on everything, because this canopy is probably the weakest canopy in the industry I have ever seen. I mean, even a minor tap into something, the thing cracks in half. I don't know why they just keep using it. If anything, they should double it up, just put two of them on there. It might hold up a little bit better. So sure, you're probably going to have to deal with the canopy issue. Inside there, you have their FPV camera along with a standalone VTX, which I haven't taken apart to show you guys. But the camera is a camera that they've used in the past on many other quads, and it's another area where I can't really give them a free pass, because there are now well-known cameras. I have found them myself. The 199C and the OV231 and the new newbie drone camera, the Whoop cameras, those are all excellent cameras. This camera does not compare to those, is not nearly as good as those, but it does work perfectly fine for a Whoop. So those are really all the bad points about this quad. The rest of the things are, well, there's one other bad point I'll get to in a second, but the rest of the quad is actually pretty good. The all-in-one board that they're using in here is their newest 1S. Either way, it'll run 8K, 8K, and 8K, 4K just fine. The ESCs on here will not do D-Shot 600 or anything above 300. If you do anything above 300 and 8K, 8K, you kind of get some tiny little issues. I particularly had a lot of issues on D-Shot 600. It flew awful. So I knocked it down to 300 and it flew way, way better. And I don't have any issues with 8K, 4K. So those are the settings that I would recommend for this. And the default rates that it comes with are, I don't know who set them, but they're terrible. Knock it down to default. Betaflight, I would recommend. The tune on it is pretty good, however. The frame is also really good. I did smash it up really nicely, and the frame has held up totally fine. There's been no spars that are broken, no issues at all. So yeah, this thing flies great, fine. However, I am obviously not the most well-versed in whoops. I don't do whoops a lot on my channel, and so I would direct you promptly to Nick Burns and Mr. Shutterbug. Those two guys are far better at all these whoop things than I will probably ever be. Mr. Shutterbug, I think his name is Nate Payne. He has some 1S whoops that perform just unbelievably well. It's just amazing well, and if I ever get time or a chance, I'm going to foray into that area as well, because that is amazing, the performance that he's getting on 1S. I highly recommend you go check out his videos. He has got some of the best performing whoops I have ever seen. The performance of this is fine, however, you may have noticed that the flight time is exceptionally short. It comes with this 300 milliamp BetaFPV battery with the BT2 connector on it, and while the connector is great and all, the battery is not very well suited for this quad at all. And this is the same battery that comes on the 2.5 inch version as well, which just can't power. The BT2 connector is fine, but the battery itself can't dish out power. It's not a very good battery to begin with. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with whoops, so I don't know how long these batteries are supposed to last, but the last time I flew a whoop, I'm pretty sure it lasted well over a minute. I'm getting just about a minute of flight time on this battery. If I fly it till it's totally dead, it's about a minute and a half, minute and 40 seconds. That's not very good flight time in my opinion. Also, the all-up weight of this thing is 30.6 grams, 31 grams-ish, and that's pretty good. But I think that you can get, well, I don't know if you can get them ready to fly, but I know that Mr. Shutterbug has been doing quads that are far lighter and perform far better than this. The rest of the quad is the 0802 22,000 kV motors, which seem to be kind of a default motor at this point for 1S things of this 65mm size on these tiny little props. And yeah, the performance is fine. It performs great. I personally prefer the Tiny Hawk still. The original 1S Tiny Hawk is my preference, but this thing performs great if you're looking for a smaller little one. And this, minus the canopy, will be more durable than the Tiny Hawk 1S from last year as well, because the frame actually does hold up really well. I did smack this thing around really hard, harder than I did any Tiny Hawk, and it really held up aside from that canopy. So if you just solve that canopy issue, which can be solved if you just pick up one of the Newbie Drone B-Brain V2 mounts and throw it on here, I bet that would work fantastically well on this quad. And yeah, that's it. Take care, floss your teeth, and I'm going to talk about this thing in another video later. Bye-bye.